Okay, homeowners, as weather is starting to cool down, let me ask you a quick question. When was the last time that you had your furnace tuned up? Being a real estate agent and going on inspection after inspection, I can tell you from firsthand experience that there's a large portion of homeowners that just never really maintain their HVAC or furnace system. Now, if you're one of these homeowners, don't be embarrassed by it. There's not really a manual when you go and purchase a home telling you this is what you should be maintaining and this is how to do it. But that's exactly why I made today's episode. So on today's episode, I'm going to be talking to Carlos from Veteran Air, and he's going to be walking through everything that his company does on an annual basis to make sure your furnace is doing three things. Number one, working safely. So you're mixing gas and flame in an enclosed area. You want to make sure that it's safe to use for you and your family. Number two, you want to make sure it's working efficiently. So you want to make sure you're saving money on your energy bill and making sure that it's actually heating your house as it's supposed to. And then third, you want to make sure you're maintaining it so it lasts as long as possible. If you've ever replaced a furnace or an HVAC system, you know that it could cost thousands of dollars. And in the meantime, you're without heat. So if it gets cold, you're just kind of out of luck. So this is the reason why you should be maintaining your unit. And so we're going to go over exactly what it takes on an actual unit so you can see the inner workings to make sure your furnace is safe, efficient, and lasts as long as possible. So let's go ahead and get into it. Hey everybody, welcome. Today I welcome Carlos to the show. Carlos, thank you for coming. He's from Veteran Air and he's going to talk about what you need to be doing to prepare your furnace to get ready for winter. So Carlos, go ahead and kind of walk us through some of the things that people need to know about the furnace, as well as what you guys usually do to get furnaces prepared for the winter time. Now, especially now we have a rainy day today for once.
Yes.
What people need to know to make sure that everything's working great before they have to start using their heater more frequently.
Yes. Everything is that we go through, a lot of it's preventative maintenance.
Okay.
Something as simple as changing your filter, just reminder, change your filter.
Yep.
That's the big key factor, something that homeowners can do.
And how often should people be doing that? Because
we recommend every 90 days,
Okay.
But it depends on usage. So
Okay.
every home, it varies,
Okay.
but rule of thumb is 90 days.
Gotcha. Okay, so can you kind of walk us through what your general process is to make sure the furnace is ready for the winter time?
Yes, so a lot of it is going over the safety of the furnace.
Okay.
Because everything that we have inside here, everything is in the elements of safety.
Okay.
So I'm going to be going through and checking all the electronic components, checking safety switches, just to make sure that we are within manufacturer spec of
Gotcha.
how the machine is heating the home for the
supposed to
winter.
work, yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Perfect. And so this is part of the plan that you guys have, that you go out twice a year. So once during the springtime before you tend to use your AC more often, and then once during the winter time or right before winter to make sure your furnace is
Correct.
Okay.
So you hit the nail on the head. So definitely twice a year is what we have to do.
Okay.
One in the springtime, one in the fall as well.
Okay.
That way it's in operative conditions throughout that time.
Gotcha. And then what you do in the springtime is pretty much completely different than what you're doing in the winter time as well.
Correct.
So it's not like you're doing the same thing twice.
Correct. Because we have three components.
Okay.
The furnace is one that's used for both for heating and for cooling.
Okay.
But the air conditioning component here and the one outside is just for air conditioning purposes on this style home.
Perfect. So let's go ahead and we're going to go walk through basically what he's doing to get a furnace ready for the winter time.
One of the first things that I do is I check the air filter. And as we can see, filter's dirty. We see pet hair on it. So definitely it was due up for replacement, which is why we're here. Something simple that where I start off with is the return cavity down here is I'm going to be pulling out this blower wheel assembly. We're going to be vacuuming out the whole cavity itself just to get rid of all the other dirt, dust particles, hair, everything else that's stayed down there.
And I have a husky, so I'm sure there's plenty of
Yeah, so especially with homeowners that have pets, it's definitely one of those things that we do to take care of is vacuum out that return cavity.
Okay.
Things that we're going to be checking out: circuit board, making sure all these resistors, none of them have been frayed, or we look at spots where we see some resistors that are starting to fail. Be checking out the blower motor. All this in a little bit. You're going to see me pull this all apart. We're going to, first and foremost, again, we're going to cycle the unit too. And then up here, we're going to work our way up, and then we're going to go through the gas assembly. We are going to go through and tell you all the features of when the system operates, what it does in sequence before it even fires up. So right now I overrode the thermostat, so I just jumped it right here just to turn on and call for heat. First things first, it's going to turn on the blower motor. After that, it's going to go through and check safety switches. We have rollout switches throughout the unit. Right there, it passed through all the safety inspections in here, so it said, hey, we're good to go. The igniter kicks on, gas valve opens up, and now we have our flame.
Gotcha. I'll turn the light off real fast for some dramatic effects so you can see it a little better.
Yep.
There you go. Blue flame right in there.
And then right after that, then our blower motor turns on, and that's how we have heat in the home. So usually at this point, now that the machine has been running for a good couple minutes, ideally after 10 minutes, with the manufacturer spec right here, it tells us we should have a temperature rise of 35 to 65 degrees. What that means is the air coming in to the air being supplied, we should have a difference of 35 to 65 degrees. That's where we want that range to be. And that's where the safety inspection tune-up comes into play, because I can adjust this gas valve to the amount of gas and make sure that we have to the amount of heat to go inside. So that's where it's very critical for us to do the maintenance, because we would never want this to overfire and overheat inside your house. Right here is when we can go inside your house and I can use my temperature gun and we'll take some readings.
Okay.
This isn't super accurate, but it at least gives me an idea of how the machine is operating, because this measures surface temperature, not exactly the air temperature coming out, but it actually just gives me an idea of how the system is operating. So, and the battery is going low, of course. 69 degrees going in, and we have 103 coming out. So we're at 34 degree difference. Okay. So I do that around the home, and then I can kind of see how it's heating and being distributed.
Okay, so how much is the subscription for the twice a year for them to come out, and kind of what does that cover?
Yes, that's a good question. Our annual maintenance plan, not only does it cover the 2 visits, one in the springtime, one in the fall, you also get a lot of different benefits along with it. You get priority service, priority scheduling when it does. If something were to happen in between visits, then we come out, you get front of the line service. Then our non-member clients that come in requesting repairs or troubleshooting, that's one of the biggest things. You get discounts on repairs.
Okay.
Also, in the inevitable factor where you do come across where you need to replace it, you also get discounts on replacement as well. You get discounts on indoor air quality products, air scrubber, anything with ducting as well, whole house fans, anything that's in the indoor air quality product line, you get discounts with that as well. One of my favorite ones that I like is our membership savings bank. That's one of the things that really sets us apart from the other companies. And what that is that $213.12 that you pay annually.
Yep.
It goes into a virtual account. It's pretty much your little piggy bank.
Okay.
In the inevitable, when we do have to replace it, you get some of that money back when it comes to replacing the unit. If you replace just the unit by itself, you get 50% back towards the new unit. If you do that with ducting, then you get 100% of that back.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
yeah, it's a giant benefit.
it's a huge benefit.
Yeah, and especially for the getting first in line, especially during the summertime when your AC goes out to 105 degrees. And
correct, exactly.
It's nice to have be able to get in there quickly.
It always happens when we least expect it, and usually when we have
the worst time.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm gonna start taking it apart, and then we'll go through it. So right now I'm gonna pull it all apart. As we can see inside here, all the passive dirt that goes through your filter, because the filter is only gonna collect about 60% of actual dust particles. Everything else is gonna pass through. It's gonna collect inside here, the blower wheel, also go through the rest of the system in the evaporator coil. So those are all the things that we're gonna be looking at, because preventative maintenance, dust is the actual leading factor of a failing system. An eighth of an inch of dust on this blower wheel will cut the efficiency of about 30%,
wow,
which
okay.
That's where utility costs kind of factor in. Like, hey, my machine is always on. A lot of the things can be addressed and fixed just by our simple tune-up, you know, that we do. Honestly, when you see it, you're like, it's not that bad. And watch, after we clean it, you'll see the difference. And you'll see how much actual dirt is here.
Delicious.
So that's everything that's circulating back into your home. That's what we're breathing. That's everything. So at the end of the day, we're never bringing in new air into the homes. We're just circulating it, and we're just changing the temperature. So these are key factors to what we got to do. Think of it almost like a circulating fan, like a ceiling fan, right? When it's operating, all that dust gets collected on those fins. If you don't take off that dust, all those layers on top of it, it stresses out that motor. So that's just weight that you're putting on it. Same thing as this is extra weight that's being put on it, just years and years of just usage throughout the seasons. And one of the things that we want to do is remove that, because then that means the motor is going to struggle a lot less. Yeah. So that's how motors last the whole life expectancy. Failed motors preventatively or prematurely, I'm sorry, is because of the dust of this never being cleaned out. That's usually the leading factor of the motor failing. Things I'm going to show you right now as well too that we do on our maintenances. This is your flame sensor. This is pretty much what sits right where the flame comes out, and what this does is literally the name of it, flame sensor. It senses the flame. If it doesn't sense the flame, this is one of the biggest things that we get calls on. That's the leading factor of the furnace not working. Sometimes it's just a dirty filter. If it's not breathing right, then with these advanced units, that if it doesn't get the amount of volume of air going in, then it says, hey, turn off for safety. But the other safety component is this flame sensor. As you can see, it has like a green residue on it and things like that. So what we do is we resurface it. That way it makes contact again. A lot of my calls, like I was stating, it's literally cleaning this sensor, because if it doesn't get cleaned out, it doesn't read the flame, and it will cause the machine not to operate. This is your heat exchanger. This is where flame goes through here. This is what heats up inside, okay? So in simple analogy, this is what sits on top of your stove. This is what heats up. Blower motor turns on. that's how you have heat in your house. Okay, so what we look at right here is the wear and tear of the heat exchanger, because that's what happens with usage. When a heat exchanger is brand new, you'll have this aluminum finish, almost like the inside of an aluminum can, that nice shiny finish. As it wears and tears, then it starts going through different stages. The first stage, it starts getting this like white phase, and then it starts getting into this black phase. We never want to see a lot of black spots here, because that just means that layer of the metal, the aluminum, it's getting thinner and thinner. Okay, so we go through it, we inspect it, we go through each one of the panels. So if I were to rate it, say on a 1 to 10, he's probably at the, I'd want to say like 6 to 7. Definitely those, the black spots are the concerning points. So at this point, where I'd leave with is, hey, I'm gonna find out manufacturer, parts, availability, and pricing. That way we see what, you know, whether we do it preventatively or we wait on it, and that way we can kind of see repair options.
Got it. Basically, just get a game plan to figure out.
Exactly.
So, know what to expect, know what the repairs is going to be, and start planning it out.
I always like to keep it in line, like what's in store immediately, what can wait, and things like that. So if it's something where, hey, it wasn't working and it was due to one of these rollout switches, then I'd say, hey, you know what, this is what went wrong. I did a further inspection and saw this. Just a heads up, these are other repairs that can kind of be in store for us in the future.
Okay.
So now it's the fun part, putting it back together.
Fast forward if you're putting it back together in 10 seconds. And
yeah, that's when you just, oh dang,
done.
look.
Look how fast that was.
Oh wow. There it goes, glow plug is coming on. Safe, recycled it. It's certified for us to operate in the wintertime.
Okay, everybody, so I just want to go ahead and recap today exactly what just happened. So tell me if I'm missing anything, but we went through, you cleaned out the air box underneath. We went through and replaced the filter. You cleaned out the blower so it's more efficient, get the dust out, make sure the air is clean and clear for anybody inside the house. You went and you inspected and looked at the actual heat exchange, make sure that looks good. We tested everything to make sure that you're getting the proper heat inside, to make sure that the unit is to spec. Is there anything else that I missed on here?
No, you did good.
Got everything?
Yes.
Okay.
We covered a lot, but yes.
Okay. So as you can see, there's a giant amount of work that goes into this, but it also helps keep your unit running smoothly and prevents those costly maintenance that you have to do once it breaks down. And you just want to make sure that it's working before you have to actually start using it during the winter months, and then same thing during the spring. So this service that they offer, that Veteran Air offers, is a great service to be able to sign up for, because not only is it going to make your unit last longer, but it just gives you that peace of mind knowing that you have the clean unit, you have everything operating efficiently, and you could be saving money too, because when it operates efficiently, it's going to save you on your energy bill. Is there anything else that you wanted to bring up about the service that you provide that we haven't talked about yet?
Yes, that's pretty much it.
Okay.
you literally
everything.
Explained it perfectly. That's exactly what we do, and at the end of the day, that's our goal, is to save our customers and our clients money. Not just that, the peace of mind of making sure your furnace is safe for the wintertime.
Okay, perfect. Well, this has definitely been an eye-opening experience for me, seeing all the inner workings and what it takes to make sure it's operating as efficiently as possible. I hope you guys got some great information out of this and understand a little bit more about how your HVAC system works and why it's important to maintain it. So until next week's episode, stay healthy, stay happy, and we will see you on the next show. Bye.
Bye.